Welcome back. Today I want to do a quick review on Palantir's SPAC portfolio. We'll be checking in on, it looks like, 12 companies that I have listed here. There are a few more, some of which I could not find the stock information for, but here we have 12 tickers, 12 investments that Palantir has made, and these all happened at the SPAC price of $10 for each of these, a varying share count throughout all of them. But the total investment was around 280 million. Again, this is not their entire portfolio. These are the ones that I was able to obtain information from. So Lilium, and this is ranked by total amount, Lilium at the top, Wejo, Babylon, and then it goes down from there. As you can see, we're familiar with some of these. I haven't looked into all of them because there are so many, but definitely names you will hear in the Palantir investment space. So once again, they purchased these shares. All dollars you will see are in millions of dollars. So their percentage of the cash position currently invested in these, again, this is going to vary a bit, but they invested about 10% of their cash position into these SPACs. So I just wanted to give that perspective. But here we go. I'm going to break it out. It's been a tough time for SPACs, for all stocks. Here is where they currently sit. So you'll see actually a decline, of course, from this $10 price of really about 50%, 60% for almost all of these. So basically the bottom line is their SPAC portfolio has been crushed. The investment loss is there, but the point worth reiterating is Palantir would not be making these investments for the short term. They're partnering with these SPACs. So while they have sustained a $124 million loss at this point, as of the close on February 3rd, I believe, that's only about 5% of their cash position today, given that we do have a cash position of $2.3 billion. So just putting that in perspective again, it's been their current market value is actually around 156 million, down from 280 million. They started doing these investments. The first one was Lilium back about 10 months ago, and then we saw a lot more coming in 8 months ago, and really 6 months ago. We've seen this portfolio start to develop. And if you're interested in market cap, I also brought this in here, a very rough outline of what the market cap of these companies are, and it comes out to about over $1 billion for each of them. So these are not small companies, that the average company is actually over $1 billion in market cap. So also, I wanted to point out that if they could actually acquire about 2 of these companies with their current cash position, and of course they wouldn't do that, but they could acquire at least one of these companies if they wanted to, if they saw that would be a good fit for them. I don't think that would be acquiring a SPAC, any of these companies doesn't really fit too well with their core operations. So I think the partnership is a much better representation of what they want to utilize their relationship for, but just wanted to point that out there. So basically, the representation of the original market investment was 12% of their cash, and now it's down to 7% of their cash. So yes, lost 125 million basically in SPACs so far, but of course this is not going to jeopardize the company because this is something that Palantir obviously had planned for. It does actually go to show you that Palantir is not necessarily much better at investing than anyone else. This is from the book The New Money Masters under the section Peter Lynch, who is obviously one of the greatest investors of all time. And here we have 5 investments being made. Palantir's portion of this would actually be double that. But let's say we have 3 of those are losers, which lose actually 75% of their value. They go from $100 to $25. But we have 2 winners. One of them plus 20% up to $120 market value, and the other plus 900% up to $1,000. So on the loser's side, $300 drops to $75, but $200 on the winner's side becomes $1,120. So the overall result is $500 becomes $1,195, or in Palantir's case, $500 million becomes $1.2 billion. Right now they're half of that, so they could turn a $250 million investment into $500 million. Now, what is the point of this? Well, obviously Palantir, I think, would be rash to believe that all of these companies will succeed and do well because they are on the riskier side. As with all innovation, disruptive innovation, as ARK Invest and Cathie Wood will tell you. But I believe this is what they're going for. They can accept some losers if they do, in the aggregate, as a whole, actually come out with at least 1 or 2 winners of the bunch. So they're casting their net wide with all of these companies. Now, this is just the macro. This is the short-term result of this investment about 1 year later, about 6 months later on almost all of these. So I wanted to show you how much they've lost so far so you can monitor this going forward. And if they do double this, if they have 6 losers and 4 winners, they can turn their investment. And if they're able to get something along these lines, they can actually do a 2x of the entire portfolio. Even with right here, we've got 3/5 of the actual portfolio being losers and only 2/5 being winners, with one big winner. Palantir's going for that big winner. Also, they're using these companies, these SPACs and these partnerships to actually rapidly iterate on their product. They're accelerating their product development with these partnerships. These are day zero companies or whatever they like to call them, but rapid product development is really what Palantir is getting out of this. If they needed to make an investment for that extreme partnership in that way, I think it is well worth the cost. So that's where I'll leave it for now. Hopefully this was insightful. I will catch you in the next video.